Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. I am your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me on Mondays, as always, is our host, Logan Landers. How's it going, Mr. Landers?
Jeremiah, brother, I'm doing great. Hey, it's a Monday tradition. Wake up, get a little bit of breakfast in your system, and then talk some football. I'm ready for it. Who we got today, man?
Oh, man. Well, today, talking big, doing it huge for Texas A&M. Let's talk about Kellen Mond. So what can you tell us about Mr. Kellen Mond?
Let's talk Kellen Mond. So as we all know, Texas A&M quarterback. Standing at 6'3", 217 pounds, going into his senior year. He attended IMG Academy in high school, and he did a pretty good job there. 1,803 passing yards, 19 touchdowns. He also ran the ball for 757 yards and 17 rushing touchdowns as well. So very impressive in high school. Definitely one of those dual-threat quarterbacks we've been talking about pretty recently on the show. And, man, he just stands out, no doubt. He had great numbers in high school. You know, he almost he had even amounts of passing and rushing touchdowns. So that's pretty impressive considering just any quarterback, honestly. So, yeah, 19 and 17, very solid. So coming out of high school, he had offers from Auburn, Clemson, UGA, LSU, and The Ohio State University. So, yeah, very talented quarterback, no doubt. But he chose to attend Texas A&M instead. So his 2017 freshman season, he, like most freshmen, he doesn't get to see too much action, but he did impress more than some others that we've seen on the show his freshman year. Threw for 1,357 yards, 8 passing touchdowns, 340 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns, also rushing the ball in. Now, man, he also improved. His sophomore year was off the charts. 3,107 yards, 24 touchdowns through the air, 474 on the ground with 7 to boot. So, yeah, very good. He stood out his sophomore year, no doubt. Had a little bit of a dip his junior year, but nothing too alarming by any means. 2,897 yards, 20 touchdowns, 501 rushing yards with 8 touchdowns as well. So, very good, very consistent his last 2 years, no doubt. So, yeah, Kellen Mond is definitely a player to look out for at Texas A&M. So, going into his senior year, man, when I was looking at his stats, he's improved his completion percentage each year. It was around, I believe, 50%, like low 40s, early 50s his freshman year. He just kept moving up. I think it peaked at around 60 this last season. So he's been improving his accuracy each and every season. I'm sure that's going to continue, no doubt. He needs to cut down on his interceptions a little bit. We see most of these quarterbacks just airing the ball out like we saw with him throwing for over 3,000 yards that one season and nearly that much this past season. You're going to throw a few picks. That's just the way of the game. Hopefully he just, picks his spots perfectly and, tries to get those defenders out the way. And, yeah, just cut down his interceptions just ever so slightly. He's not throwing 20 a game. He's not doing anything crazy like that. Just cut down on that just a slight amount, and he'll be in good hands. Man, like I said, senior year, it's your last year to impress the scouts going into the NFL. Being at Texas A&M, which is not one of the higher-ranked SEC schools, it's always a little bit challenging for like players such as Kellen Mond, like we saw a few years ago with Johnny Manziel coming out of A&M.
Yes.
Definitely one of the highest-rated quarterbacks that got picked out of that school, and we saw that unfortunately just didn't work for him. But however, with Kellen Mond, he's definitely got some room to improve. Like I said, just cut down those interceptions, and I think he's going to be a good pick. Like I said, dual-threat quarterback as well, so that's always a nice necessity to have.
Yeah, and when you call him a dual-threat quarterback, I think that the numbers really show that in a very graphic way where he had such an even amount of passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, and the guy's just mobile. He's really the one that you can't leave somebody open because he's going to dive bomb if you leave somebody open, so you can't do that. You can't just constantly rush him. But if you do try to rush him, he might just run out that pocket and just keep on going.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But yeah, like you said, in high school, those rushing and passing numbers very almost equal. But as you going into college, you're obviously going to be throwing the ball more than rushing it as a quarterback. You're not going to get nearly as many rushing touchdowns. But yeah, no doubt, definitely one of those dual threat quarterbacks that sticks out in your mind. We've talked about a few of them on the show on the last couple of weeks, but he's the one that really stands out above the rest for me. He's also got good awareness in the pocket. Being those dual threat quarterbacks, you're going to have good feet. You got to have quick feet, be able to know where the defenders are coming from. If they're trying to sack you, you got to be able to move and, bob and weave and get out the way of those defenders and, either throw on the run, which he's very good at, got good accuracy. Like I said, he's improving each and every year. Yes. Or, chuck the ball out of bounds or just, rush it for a first down or a touchdown. That's always a plus. And he's also got really good accuracy on his deep throws as well. A lot of quarterbacks struggle in this aspect of the game. But with Kellen, I've seen multiple clips of him just chucking the ball downfield and him just absolutely right on the money, pinpoint accuracy to his wide receiver. So that's always a very good, very coveted skill to have, especially going into his senior year where he's more refined. He's got a lot of game experience, so he's ready for the next level. And I think a lot of scouts are going to be impressed with him in this 2020 season. We'll see how many games they play. But, man, he's got a heck of a schedule this year with A&M. You're always going to – like we say, man, the SEC is never – you're never going to have an off week. You're always going to be playing someone tough, man. And just a few of the opponents that A&M is going to be playing this year, Alabama, we got LSU, Florida, and Auburn. Just, man, those 4 teams alone are just nightmares. I guess we're going to have some tough nights sleeping if I'm Kellen Mond, seeing that defense coming at me that next day.
Right.
But I think he's up for the challenge, no doubt. He's definitely going to be, like I said, going into senior year, he's faced these teams before. He knows what they're going to be coming at him hard and heavy. So he's prepared, and I could see Kellen Mond having another good season, another consistent season, and getting drafted in the very near future, no doubt.
Yeah, it seems like his draft prospects are in a good place for now as long as he can stay healthy, get a couple wins against a couple of these big SEC teams, and just really, worry about getting on to that next level. He does seem like he's in the right place to do that. Again, like you said with the SEC, there's a lot of teams in the entire college football world that dread facing half the teams in the SEC. And there's, the Texas A&M schedule is ripe. It's full. And this particular year is one of the most interesting because having to bake everything down and make everything, make each game be as important as possible because we're not sure how many we'll get to play. You have to play the most important games you can as quickly as possible. Their schedule, I think everyone's schedule is pretty difficult this year, honestly. It's going to be wild.
Especially playing just, interconference too, like the SEC. You're not going to be playing any of the smaller independent type schools that that's going to be an easy win. You're going to be having a tough opponent each and every week now.
Yeah, and we may learn some valuable lessons from this. Yep. So if you've been watching, we are 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. We've been talking about Kellen Mond of Texas A&M, who is a shooter. He's the quarterback to fight with, and he is not going to go down easy. I don't care if it's Alabama or anybody else. Texas A&M is going to try to really take it to the house this year. So for 100 Yards of Football, I am the producer, Jeremiah Long. This is our host, Logan Landers. If you would like to sponsor our show, we are now accepting sponsors for our lower third, our crawl at the bottom, logo, and full sponsorship for entire programs, including sponsors for specific related videos around your product or brand. So hit us up and let us know what you're thinking. And for all the team